Alright, let's state our combatants. I'm going to be taking Warlock Orochimaru.
I'll be taking 1,000-Year Blood War Mayuri.
You guys both using like manga canonicity data books, like fan books, like
Yeah, standard battle assumptions.
Yeah, standard battles. Fine. Do you want like a stated distance?
Yeah, what are your characters' max ranges, so that way you can figure out like what distance you're starting.
Max ranges?
Yeah.
Max
The
range?
VSBW standard battle assumptions is that whatever your character's max range for an attack is within like 4 kilometers is like considered to be like where the fight starts. So whoever has the longest range, like based on like that, like up to a max of 4.
I mean, I don't know. Orochimaru has decent range with that with the sword, and like Mayuri's Bankai just like it. I guess it would technically be long range because it's like it like emits a gas that spreads over time.
I mean, if
but
we
his
want to go off
immediate
of a data book statement, it says that you can extend Nagi like as long as he wants. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so let's just put it at 4 kilometers.
4 kilometers.
Okay, bet. All right, would you like to start?
Yeah, I can start. So I guess does Orochimaru have any counter to base? I guess does he have any counter to things like Mayuri's drugs or whatnot? Like he can.
Yes, actually, he is immune to poison.
Not poison. Orochimaru has a drug. Not Orochimaru. I'm sorry. Mayuri has a drug that completely and totally freezes someone's nervous system. Or
yeah, that would be considered a poison.
That is not a poison.
Would you like me to gain the definition of poison for you?
Yeah, I can go with that. Poisons affect different things.
Substance capable of causing illness or death of a living organism when introduced or absorbed. So that drug would basically go down as a poison since it negatively affects the body.
So are you making the assertion that Orochimaru is immune to all poisons?
Yes.
I feel like that'd be a bit of a no limits fallacy, huh?
No. Hold on.
I guess like what poisons has he shown to be resistant to? Because to say that he's resistant to all poisons is like verbatim, just in facts.
Okay, so he's shown to be immune to one of the strongest poisons in Konoha that was given to Sakura by Shizune, I think her name is. And he was also implied to be immune to Sasori's poison, since they're implied to be relative.
Can you describe, or can you like give me a scan of what those poisons do?
Sure. Yeah.
And I'll drop the scans of the freezing agent that freezes the nerves. Also, also in the scans that I'm going to be showing, if you notice, when Nemu stabs the poison into a hailing payfill, which is just an energy construct, it travels through that, like it travels through just pure energy too. And the last scan, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to send that with the poison, but it's just him saying that Pernida he evolves to whatever his nerves connect to.
The poison that Sakura uses, whenever it gets into the muscles, it destroys all cells throughout the body, apparently.
Okay. Cellular poisons and poisons that affect the nervous systems, I don't think those are comparable. I think those are two different things. I think affecting your cells and affecting your nerves are different. I could be wrong.
Affecting cells would be basically more potent, in my opinion. It's more of a basic building block for the body than nerves are.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that they're not more important to the body. I'm saying like this isn't really an argument for what is more important to the body. It's just like what it affects specifically.
Yeah, so cells are definitely more important to the body than nerves.
Yeah, that can be more important, but if it affects the cells and the muscles, then like I think, do we agree that like muscles and nerves are different?
I mean, muscles have nerves within them, no?
Yeah, your whole body has nerves with it running through it, but you can have, for example, diseases that like degrade that humans get that like degrade your muscles doesn't necessarily like destroy your your nervous system. The two separate things.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to find this scan. If anyone wants to speed things along and have the scan for like description of the poison Sakura used on Sasuke, that would be very nice.
Yeah. The fucking Tengen shit posted. It's just
Yeah, it's kind of hard to find. Hold on.
Manga C is such an asshole. Lily's like little flamingo form is so weird.
Yeah, so I should be in 485. Give me 1 second. Alright. Kind of while, my bad.
Yeah, you good. So long since I read like these chapters. I forget like some of the scenes in these fights, or like some of the characters I read. Oh god, that is.
It wasn't stated something about Shizune, like, reverse engineering Sorcery's point? It's weird.
Is it would be in Chrome's scan server?
Nah, I can't really find anything in there. I can look again. But
What does Sorcery's poison? Like if she's reverse engineering it, what does Sorcery's poison do? Like what does his do? Does it like affect the bloodstream or something?
Yeah, basically just like gives people like a slow and painful death, renders them immobile, etc. Kind of similar
That's kind of
to
what.
yeah, Mayuri's. What I
Yeah, I'm
remember.
about to say it's like his is like it paralyzes you, but it's not an anesthetic, so you you feel all the pain. He's a sick, twisted motherfucker. That's why I love him so much.
Alright, yeah, so basically what I'm trying to say here is that we know that poison can affect like people in Naruto on a cellular level. We also know that people, in order to find antibodies for these poison, they need a sample of the poison itself to extract. This is shown when Sakura extracts it from Kankura. And so it's likely that Shizune, another medical ninja, is able to reverse engineer the poison in order to give it to Sakura, since it has a similar effect on the body, as shown by Naruto being paralyzed like a few seconds, or like a minute after he gets dosed with it in the 5-Kage summit.
Yeah.
If you need me to show you any of that, that's fine.
No, that's fine. I vaguely remember that. I know Shizune is pretty good, like medical nin wise, and I can like take your word for it that she reversed.
So since we know that Orochimaru would be like resistant or immune to like even the most potent poisons, like yeah, like I can't really think of a poison more potent than like complete paralysis and like cellular destruction. So.
All right. I still think that's kind of different, freezing the nervous system instead of affecting the cells of the muscles directly. But if those are our only two contentions, then we can move on from that and have it judged based on our viewpoints of it.
Okay, I just think that it being able to actually destroy cells would be much more potent than just affect nerves. So.
Well, it's not just affecting nerves. The scan, Mayuri's going over it. Once affected by the drug, the open eyelids won't shut, the contracted heart won't expand, and the open mouth won't close. Your voice is very Nimu talking to him.
Okay, so what makes the description above the cellular destruction and complete paralysis?
Well, it does go over like complete process, like by Mayuri saying, eyelids won't shut, the heart won't contract, so it stops your heart, and the mouth won't close. So they like everything is being paralyzed. Like usually when you're paralyzed, you can breathe, but like this stops the organs. And it says with this agent drug will freeze the flow of its blood and kill it. So it's stopping everything. So I think that there are different poisons that do different things. Some poisons may deteriorate things. Some may just like stop things.
Okay, yeah. So Kankuro is poisoned, but his lungs and organs aren't poisoned or aren't paralyzed because we know that he's breathing. So I suppose you could argue that it would be more of a paralytic agent, but I feel that cellular destruction kind of supersedes that and makes the poison that Sakura is using much more potent than Mayuri's.
Okay, that's fine. I think my main contingency is that like the potency and this aspect are just like two different things. Like one is like freezing and one is like deteriorating, but that's okay.
Okay.
If those are our conflicting contentions, then we can just have it judged on that. Does Orochimaru have resistance to being amped?
Being amped.
Yeah.
You show me what you're referring to before I dissect that.
Yeah. Mayuri has another drug that is not a poison, and in fact enhances you. It enhances the cognitive abilities. Basically, it would make Orochimaru's brain process things faster. However, the drug he uses in combat is undiluted to where 1 second is perceived as 100 years. So your body can't move fast enough to keep up with your mind, and it inhibits you but your biological functions would take it as a buff.
Okay. So, all right. I guess
I can drop scans of it if you need to. If you need me to.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I remember that happening.
He did it to Xylopera whenever they were the Espada number 8.
Yeah. Cognitive functions. Okay. So, Orochimaru is capable of like exiting his own body and like basically like substituting into a snake, or I can give you descriptions for all of this, by the way. There are many there are many reasons why this wouldn't affect Orochimaru. His body is just like basically like a wonder. Like it can basically do like insane things. It can, he can sprout another one of himself outside of himself. So if this ever happens to him, he could probably still do that.
Would you agree that him sprouting himself, like sprouting another body out of himself, requires like a physical movement or application on his part?
Let me see here, because
doesn't his like mouth open and a new one springs out or something like that?
Yeah, here I can look at the data book for it real quick.
Okay. I have a specific, like, I just because I kind of remember that happening, and I know it was definitely in the Storm games. I remember playing the Storm games, and that was like part of his combo. Like he would like sprout out of his mouth and punch you. And he can like substitute himself that way. I guess my main argument here would be like that still takes physical movement. So his mind, like his brain, would be processing things so fast that it would take him. For example, when Xylopero got affected by the drug, Mayuri was speaking to him and then stabbed him in the chest. And Xylopero, from his perspective, it took 100 years for Mayuri to stop talking and to stab him in the chest. So the substitution still requires a physical movement. I think his brain processing might be so powerful that he might not be able to perform that jutsu effectively, because it requires him to physically move. It might take him forever to do it physically, even though his mind is processing it.
Here, let me pull up the chapter, because I'm pretty sure when Orochimaru sprouted out of his body, it was like...
Face is dirty. I need to take a shower after this.
Okay, by the way, okay, so... it really doesn't require a movement on his part. Basically, the snake that sprouts out of him is, like, capable of moving even when he's perceived to be immobilized by Sasuke's Chidori Senbon. So, yeah, I mean, like, his mouth kind of expands on its own.
Are you saying it expands involuntarily of his own cognitive functions?
Yeah, like, I think it was said he can do it when he's dead as well. His, actual body dies. Shown in the,
Can you give me a scan of him doing it after being affected by the Senbon? And if you have a scan of the statement for him being dead, that'd be cool too. But mainly the Senbon contingent, if you have that.
Yeah, sure. Alright, there he is, sprouting his snake out of his mouth. If you want me to show you the next page where his snake is shown, I can show that.
I see him sprout. Yeah, I can see the snake coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And the Senbon enacts a paralyzing effect.
No, it was just immobilized by it because it's like attached to the wall.
Well, I don't think that would be the same thing then. If it's like being immobilized because something's attached to the wall and having your cognitive functions accelerated to where like a second is 100 years, so like your brain processing and your biology just can't keep up with one another. I feel like those are two different things. So I don't necessarily see that as a counter. I mean, if you think it is, though, we can move to the next part.
Yeah, hold on. I don't consider that a counter either, since what you brought up.
Wait, is my signal breaking up? Is that what they're talking about? Do I need to back out and come back in?
Might be mine. I don't know.
You sound fine to me. Do I sound like a robot?
No, you sound fine.
Well, shit. Okay, maybe they just got shittered at. Maybe Chrome needs to fix his fucking Wi-Fi.
Who knows?
Are they in a different VC? Okay. That's fucking Superman thing.
Was there really not a data book on the snake substitute or the body replacement substitution technique? Check.
That one not in Chrome server either. I felt like it's like
Not sure if there is one. That's the thing.
I feel like Orochimaru's a pretty prominent character. I feel like he would definitely have Orochimaru scans in there.
Yeah, no, he definitely has Orochimaru scans. I just can't find a. I'm thinking of this one. It's on the wiki, some shit, but I don't know where it's getting that info.
Trying to bulk up. I'm gonna cosplay Armstrong from fucking FMA next year. MemoCon. Shit's gonna be nice.
Cosplay Armstrong from Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
The fucking Nano Machine son.
Hmm?
Damn. If only I would like played Metal Gear. I think I played like the demo for Phantom Pain. That was it. Senator Armstrong is funny. Clips I've seen from him.
Here we go. So on page so in chapter 584, Kabuto like basically cuts open Orochimaru's throat, and he's still able to basically sprout another one of himself outside of himself. So even if it's a fatal wound, he's able to just do it. Just conscious or what.
If Orochimaru gets affected with it and killed, you're saying that he's just gonna sprout out.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
You want me to show you that, by the way?
You posted in. Yeah, I posted in Debate Scans. I'm meticulously analyzing scans. If there's a semantic argument I can play. Nah.
One. Number 2. Alright, so basically he stabs the shit out of him, and then Orochimaru sprouts out. Open wound.
Stabbing the fuck out of him, that's for sure. Goddamn. I really, wait, I didn't read Naruto. Why is Kabuto turning on this man? Okay, yeah, he's pretty fucking dead. Alright. So is Orochimaru, is the real Orochimaru inside, and that's just like a skin suit, or is this just like a
Now, how
form
the
of like
jutsu seems to work is basically he's just able to substitute out of his own body using I forgot what the jutsu is called already. It's called Orochimaru style body replacement technique.
Okay. If this body replacement technique is connected to the real Orochimaru via like bloodstream and stuff, which I'm assuming it is because I see blood, I do still feel like the drug would still work. But yeah, maybe not. Yeah.
Okay, it didn't really make sense for another full Orochimaru to fit inside. In fact, we see part of his see it looks like the genie from Aladdin's lower body whenever he's sprouting out. So it's kind of implied that he's condensed inside. That he's sprouting it out for using his chakra. So
do you think that the body that he's inside of has like a whole separate brain or something?
Nah, unless you think poison can affect chakra, so then it would probably not.
I would argue it can, because if you look in my other panel now, if you don't want to equate it to this, that's fine. I kind of get it. But if you look at the scan I sent regarding the freezing agent, Nemu stabs it into the hailing payfill, which is just energy. That is just constructed energy, and it affects it. So at least that drug can affect energy, and I would argue that I don't see why he would make it to where one drug.
What it does, it just slows down your thoughts, right?
No, not even. It doesn't slow down. It speeds up. That's where you perceive 1 second as 100 years. Is the exact.
So yeah. So even if part of Orochimaru's character is he's the most stubborn motherfucker around. All right, he will do anything to accomplish his goal. And if his goal is to kill Mayuri, he will gladly wait 100 years in order to sprout out of his body and attack him again.
I think under SB standard battle assumptions, if you're going to go with that, then that would be a win via incapacitation. Because if you're removed from the fight for, I think it's 5 days or a week,
it wouldn't be an actual 100 years though. It would be 1 second.
It would be 100 years for Orochimaru. He wouldn't be moving. He wouldn't be moving.
He wouldn't be moving for 1 second. His mind would be going for 100 years. That's how it works.
Oh no, he wouldn't be. It's not that he wouldn't be moved. It's not that he moves the second later, because hold on, I can get the scans from Xylopero, because Xylopero got stabbed with the drug, and he was able to stand there while Mayuri gave an entire speech about perfection, and then left, and then all of the fights in Hueco Mundo happened, and he was still just standing there. And I think when he finally died, his skin was dried up, and his lips were crusty. He was he finally perceived it piercing his heart, and he was like, "Finally, I'm dying. Thank God."
Okay, so he pierced his heart a second later, though, right?
Yeah, he pierced it a second later, but Xylopero was standing there for far more than a second. Unless you want to argue that the speech Mayuri gave, all the fights in Hueco Mundo happened, and all the captains left in 1 second, which I feel like is a bit illogical.
No. Okay, so what I'm trying to argue here is that okay, so since we think his mind, let me read the full description of this again, because using agent.
I'm gonna get the scans for the drug too, so I can just.
Okay. That's where it is. My bad. I thought this was the up here was the drug, but that was the other one that we already discussed.
Yeah, I'm getting scans for drugs now.
Yeah, that would help out a lot, because not exactly sure of how this works. It seems very contradictory because of how it works, but you know.
It's like the way that Mayuri is describing it is that it's superhuman perception. I've just been, but like your cognitive abilities are directly, related to your perception is directly related to your cognitive abilities. Like it's your brain, your optic nerves connect directly.
Yeah. So since he stabs him a second later, it takes him how long to perceive it?
According to Mayuri, 1 second will seem like 100 years.
Okay, so it'll seem like 100 years, but obviously it wasn't 100 years since him dying was shown like after the Hueco Mundo battles and stuff, right?
All the battles have occurred. If you look at the bottom 2 scans, it shows Xylopero's physical feat. Like compare his face to the first 4 scans, right? And how he's young and looking, and then compare the second 2, where his lips are like he looks elderly. He's been standing there for quite a bit, like his like the way he's perceiving things.
So okay, I don't understand why his physical features would change based on. Maybe that's how he's perceiving himself. Because I don't understand how his physical features would change despite it being only 1 second later.
I think his physical features are. I think his physical features are because you got to remember, like his body's not going to move until the perception that he's experiencing finishes, right? So his body will stay still for the entirety of that like century he's perceiving. But like the way Mayuri describes it is that your physical body can't keep up with your perception. So if you're perceiving things for 100 years, you're going to stand still for 100 years because your physical.
So it shows him dying after all the battles are over. Unless you think all the battles took 100 years, then that logic is like either hyperbolic or highly illogical.
No, I don't think the battles took 100 years. I'm saying that he was standing there for that long after all the battles. Because to him, Mayuri's still there, stabbing him in the chest, but Mayuri's long gone. So he's going to be standing still for 100 years until those seconds pass.
Wait, hold on. If you look at how he looks in whenever he says enjoy the next 100 years, he looks the exact same as he does in the bottom panel. So that's just how he looks.
Yeah, in the bottom panel, Saint Doom, he looks younger than his eyes look in the last panel, where they're wrinkly. He has bags under his eyes. His eyes are bloodshot. In comparison to where Mayuri's like enjoy the next 100 years, his eyes aren't baggy. He's not. He looks young. If I amped your perception to the huh?
The eye looks like the same to me. Hold on, let me zoom in extra.
If you're talking about the far right, that's Bone, or like his mask. Like all hollows have a mask.
Yeah.
Like yeah. As you you could actually go to.
I'm just saying the. You see how the third from the bottom panel where he says enjoy the next 100 years, like, and see the bag, like where the bags under his eyes are, the bottom part of him. I don't really see much of a difference in that regard.
I don't see any bags under his eyes. He has the black makeup, and if you go to the next panel, I see like a pretty big difference between them. But if you don't want to focus on the eyes, you can focus on his jawline, chin, and lips in the panel where he's like, finally, it's piercing my heart, where he seems extremely elderly. So if his cognitive functions are perceiving 1 second as 100 years, and Mayuri describes the drug as saying your physical body can't keep up with your perception, then that would logically follow that you'll be standing still for 100 years because you won't be able, your body won't be moving with your cognitive abilities.
But what I'm trying to say here is that it's only 100 years in his time. It would be 1 second passing in Mayuri's time.
Yeah, 1 second passing in Mayuri's time isn't contingent on the argument. What I'm arguing is that from Orochimaru's point of view, like Orochimaru won't be moving in the next second, is what I'm saying, because he will be standing there until 100 years in his head pass. A second might pass for Mayuri, but he's going to be standing there for 100 because that's how fast his perception is. So everything around him is just slow. That makes sense? Did I explain that good?
Yeah, okay, so whenever I went into this, I wasn't aware that standard battle assumptions would mean that he
could be like incapacitated. Well, I mean, like incapacitation is like usually a win con, like typical for like immortals. Like if somebody can't kill or if they just like get revived. For example, like in Jujutsu Kaisen where Gojo gets sealed, that's incapacitation.
Yeah, I understand.
Or BFR. BFR is a.
I didn't think it would be like there's a 5-year limit or something like that.
I don't know exactly what the limit is, but I do think that it would be a bit. I think it would be a bit outrageous if like the limit was 100 years, like the battle just like dude's just sitting there for 100 years waiting for the fight to continue.
Clown, are you listening right now? I guess he isn't. But anyway, so I'm just gonna argue that he'll be able to probably go out of the he'll probably be able to use his snake, I forgot what that shit's called already.
The snake
Orochimaru style body replacement technique. He'll be able to use that basically as soon as he's in danger. Like, okay, so since we know that the time is passing 1 second Mayuri's time, as soon as he's actually in danger, whether his senses perceive it or not, he will probably activate that.
Okay, I guess my main contention is that like his body still has to react, so it would still take his body a long time. But if you disagree with that and you feel like you've laid out your contention well enough, we can move on.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as his body is actually pierced, he'll be sprout out another.
Okay, that's fine.
Stuff is like basically in like his own perceived time, you know.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Okay.
Right. So you want me to move on to scaling my character since we're not getting the one time?
Well, I'll post one more thing for Mayuri for like the physicals and stuff.
Sure.
If you see, or actually, I kind of already posted it. If you look down at the bottom panel, whenever I was giving scans for the freezing agent, the bottom panel, he directly states that the nerves have evolved to Zaraki's level, and whatever Pernida touches, whatever his nerves touch, he evolves to. And here, I'll send the scans of him fucking up Zaraki. And I think we can both agree that Kenpachi is probably the physically strongest character in Bleach. So there's that. Zaraki got hit in the arm with the nerves, and the nerves like twisted it and like basically turned his arm into a meatball. And then here's Kenpachi hitting Pernida tanking it, and then Pernida fucking up Kenpachi even more. So Pernida directly scales to Kenpachi, and Mayuri was able to fight Pernida, who has Kenpachi's physical capabilities.
Okay, so how is Mayuri fighting him here?
Mayuri is fighting him throughout the battle. Basically, like Mayuri's tanking hits from him. Mayuri's, for example, Pernida's nerves work on inanimate objects, and you know how Ryatsu works in Bleach. Your abilities, the way your Ryatsu directly translates to your like attack potency, is contingent on everything. So, like, if you like firing a Kido would probably like your maximum output on a Kido would probably be the maximum output on your swings. I like your physical swings, and Mayuri's swapping with him pretty well. Mayuri gets hit with the compulsory actually, and this is like, so here's him getting hit with the compulsory, and this is kind of like an intelligence feat. It doubles as an intelligence feat because Mayuri rewires his entire nervous system with sutures and a needle on the spot, which is just like pretty impressive intellectually speaking. But he gets hit with it, and he's doing better than Zaraki.
Yeah, hold on. Before we address that, give me 1 second.
Cool. How much time do we have left on the bot? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, you can check that. Hold on. I'm
How
looking
do I
for this
check?
one statement.
Start at 11:58. Does the power thing record for an hour, right?
Oh god, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we have 12 minutes.
On it, don't worry.
Yeah, that's my. Yeah.
Thing here is there was a statement that says, alright, I'll get into my argument first. Alright, so basically Orochimaru is capable of biting someone on the neck and creating a curse mark. It does not function like in any way like a poison. It basically just affects people, and it kills people 9 times out of 10. And also is capable of paralyzing like the person for a decent amount of time when it's placed. So basically my argument follows that it is more likely that Mayuri will die from the curse mark statistically than it is for him to survive.
Okay, I'd argue that Mayuri's biology, he's altered and experimented on himself so much that his survivability is insane. He got half of his body blown apart by Uryu in the second arc, and then he stabbed himself in the neck and literally liquefied himself and survived that. Also, he has regenerative capsules as well. If you were to like take off an arm, he can like grow back entire limbs and stuff. So Mayuri definitely does not have the average biology of somebody that Orochimaru would have been into.
The problem with it is, the reason the curse mark kills people is because it only has a 10% compatibility rate with Orochimaru's chakra. 10% of people have the whatever it takes to be compatible with the chakra, so it doesn't really matter like his endurance or durability feats or what he can survive. What matters is like, is he compatible or not, and since it's more than likely that he isn't, it's just likely that this will just kill him immediately.
But what is the process in which they die? Is it ever specified? Is it a heart attack? Is it a stroke? Is it like a
not entirely
damage
sure.
to the brain?
Who's in chat right now? Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
I feel like that would be kind of important because like how they die is pretty like souls are like in Bleach are extremely resilient. Like they're like the kanpaku is what they're called. Like a lot of people, like a lot of average prisoners, like a lot of average souls in Bleach can't die, so they just sentence them to like Aizen got 20,000 years in Muken because they literally just couldn't kill him because he was immortal. souls just tend to be extremely resilient, like Momo. She's a low-ranking lieutenant, like low-ranking even among lieutenants. She got stabbed through the heart by Aizen. It's perfect. Or after she got healed, but she survived it. Souls just tend to be pretty resilient, and with Mayuri's biology and him being a captain and just having such high levels of Ryatsu and having altered his body so much, I think I would argue that he's more than likely probably going to resist it. And as for the paralysis thing, that's Shogi Jizo's whole shtick is paralysis, and
basically, here I'll explain this to you. So basically, what happens whenever Orochimaru bites you on the neck is you're basically rendered either paralyzed or unconscious, depending on how strong the person is that was bitten. If your body accepts curse mark, there's a 10% chance you will get stronger, and if it rejects it, you will die in like either a seizure, heart attack. I don't know. It just says you die. That's it.
Yeah, I feel like he probably. I feel like the paralysis definitely is not going to happen just because Mayuri's immune to like the paralyzing functions of Ashisogi Jizo, which is a gaseous thing.
Okay, yeah, so he's immune to that, but I don't know if that would necessarily correlate to this because it's basically like the kind of thing where those are your only two options. You would either be rendered unconscious or paralyzed. So if he's immune to paralysis, you'd probably just be rendered unconscious in that case.
That's fine. I guess I'd argue. I guess there's two ways that I can argue this. I'll go with the Bankai route in that Mayuri's Bankai intakes data from the fight and gives birth. Like he spawns like a giant baby, and that baby gives birth to another baby. It's really weird. And the thing that has been given birth to is an immediate counter to whoever he's fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So if Orochimaru bites him, and he goes he goes Bankai, Orochimaru bites him. Ashisogi Jizo is fed the data and gives Mayuri an immediate counter to the ability he's facing.
How long of a process does this take?
Like almost immediately. Hold on, I got the scans of him doing it to Pranita. There you go. So he was fighting Pranita, and then he just spawns. He just like goes Bankai after fighting Pranita, and then immediately gives like in the next panel, it's given birth to something to counter Pranita. Pranita's whole thing is nerves. So Ashisogi Jizo, the counter that was given to Mayuri, was an Ashisogi Jizo with 70,000 layers of nerves directly onto the surface of the skin. That way, it could just shed its skin whenever the nerves hit it. So like nullify.
Does would this still work whenever he's unconscious?
Yeah, it's independent. His Bankai spawns like you have different kinds of Bankai. You have Tenta Zangetsu, which is like just a speed-based Bankai. It's still Ichigo holding a sword and swinging it. Ashishogi Jizo, as you can see, is an entire separate entity that spawns.
Yeah, but isn't like tangent on him feeding his Reiatsu into it, or no?
They've been feeding Soul Reapers have been feeding their Ryatsu into their Zanpakuto for like since they've gotten in, and Mayuri's probably upwards of like 250, 300 years old, so he has plenty of the Ryatsu. They become their own entities. Actually, you have like your inner
but him
world.
feeding it into the Zanpakuto, does that stay there, or is that just how to keep it constantly like awakened?
No, you don't have to. No, you don't have to constantly feed your Zanpakuto Ryatsu. After a certain point, it becomes its own being, just attached to your soul.
Understand, but okay, so whenever Ichigo is like in his mind space, right? Zanpakuto is not able to fight for him.
Inside of his mind space, no, but that's because the Ichigo's Bankai doesn't spawn something for him.
Understand.
You have like
you argued that all Zanpakuto have like their own sentience, and if that were the case, then all Zanpakuto would be able to fight for their user while they're unconscious now.
No, not at all, because it depends on how the Zanpakuto takes form. Like Tensei isn't going to start levitating and swinging at people, but this is this Bankai spawns an entire separate entity which does fight independently of Mayuri, because it fights Uryu while Mayuri's kind of just standing still in the Soul Society.
Okay, but does he need to be conscious in order for the ability to activate? Is what I'm asking.
That I don't know. I don't know if he has to be conscious for the ability to activate. How long does it take for the curse mark to render you unconscious?
It's what we saw. It was basically instant with Sasuke, and the paralysis was instant with Guru. So,
It was instant with Sasuke?
Yeah, pretty sure. Like basically, as soon as he bit him on his neck, he collapsed.
Do you have the? I don't want to ask for a scan so quick, late, because like it's 12:55, so we have like
3 minutes.
Yeah, we have like 3 minutes left.
I could maybe speed run it. Hold on. Be at the very top. That's him using it for the first time. Crap, man. Okay, look, man. How about this? How about we conclude, and if I am wrong about him,
well, do you have Orochimaru's physical scales? Do you know where he scales physically?
That's not really relevant to my argument, I guess.
It's relevant. It can be relevant to mine, because like if Mayuri's stronger, then his Ryatsu could just negate the entire ability altogether.
It depends. I don't know if we established first equalization, so I don't know.
Well, SBA works in reverse equalization.
Is it? Okay. Okay, I'll skills physical. Let me think real quick.
Because
his paralysis was able to work on Guru, who scales roughly to like he's able to summon. His overall battle power is able to summon something on par with Hashirama's strongest technique. So, yeah, that would kind of just, if we use verse equalization, say that stronger Ryatsu cancels out. He has, like, the equivalent power scaling to Guru, so that would mean that he's basically, in this verse equalized, power system, he would be, like, basically Hashirama level, no cap.
Kenpachi should be around Galaxy level, scaling off of Grimmy.
Okay, you want me to debunk all the Grimmy shit real quick?
I have a scan
I guess I can't.
Proves all the Grimmy
I already
stuff.
have a debunk ready for the Grimmy shit though. It's a shame we don't have much time.
Okay. Well, I guess we can just move. We can move to conclusions then.
Yeah, we can probably start another powwow. Hold on. Let me just save this one since it's about to literally go out like in 1 minute. Okay, part 2 of the debate starts now. So go ahead and bring up the Grammy stuff. I'll be able to debunk it real quick.
Because I saved it. Get some of my pictures. I mean, just kind of skip it over. I've been saving a lot of Bleach scans. So it might just be fucking paid.
Listen, Tom, I can just debunk it without the scan. I basically have this already prepared.
You can go through the debunk while I get the scan.
Alright, so my debunk goes like this. We know that Grammy requires a clone in order to create a meteor. We also know that his clones give him double the imaginative power, and since it takes him 6 to create his little pocket dimension type thing, or it was either 6 or 7, but since it takes him 6, so it would be basically the size of it would therefore follow that it would be like sub 6 times meteor level. Size of it would just be less than that, and the appearance would just be of a galaxy, just because it's a vacuum.
That's disanalogous, just because Grimmy making 2 of himself to create a meteor and him making 6 of himself to create the space is not contingent on the size of what he creates. It's the potency of what he creates. So no,
Okay,
it's quite literally stated that he creates outer space.
Yeah, so he's creating like basically a vacuum of space. That's fine. I agree with
that. He's
that.
creating outer space with stars and galaxies and everything.
Creating outer space, but what I'm saying here is that since takes it like he doubles his imaginative power with one clone, like whenever he makes a clone.
Oh my god, my phone! No, god damn it!
Not have a charger, man. Is that it?
Can we buy him a charger?
Oh my god, bro. I might need to like cash app his dumb ass and give him a charger, bro.
Literally two nights in a row.
Literally, this happens in every single one of his debates.
The charger fallacy, we gotta end that shit.
Yeah, bro.
Alright, close the bot because he's not gonna rejoin most likely.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Who the hell is it? Pawa. Yeah, my bad. Alright.
Hey, where? Oh, Victor's alive. Victor, send me that. Send me the.
He isn't in call, I don't think.
Yeah, he's in. Oh shit! I thought he was listening.
Yeah, but I probably have it. It's probably in Victor's scan server.
I was just looking in there.
Every piece of evidence needed for galaxy level Grammy. Here we go.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah. Just go ahead and post that and in debates and scans. I kind of swore I downloaded it.
Well, good, bucko.
I just won't unplug my phone. Jesus.
So I'm gonna look at all of this real quick.
Can you post it in debate and scans real quick?
I did.
All right, cool. Appreciate that. Yeah, so if you look at the statements down here from the novel, he's quite literally creating space, and Grimmy imagines what he sees. Right? So the meteor he imagined was literally a meteor. It was the size of a meteor. It was bigger than the Seirete, which takes 10 days to get to each gate, and there's 4 gates. It has a 40-day diameter, which is incredibly large. That's tens of kilometers large. So that's a whole meteor. So it would be a bit. It wouldn't make sense that he creates an entire meteor, but doesn't create an entire galaxy or an entire star, because that is directly what we've been shown that he can do. There's another panel towards the end of the manga of him imagining a whole planet.
It does literally state that every time he makes a clone, his imaginative power doubles, and I interpret that as the scale at which he can imagine things doubles. So therefore, his imagination would just be like sub 6 times meteor level.
Why does it have to be double?
It's stated. Hold on, I can grab that probably.
Like doubling his imaginative power and doubling his like Ryatsu. It doesn't like double his Ryatsu or anything.
That's how I interpret it, is because he's able to create something of a larger scale whenever he makes a clone, basically.
That's fine that he can create something of a larger scale, but I think that it is just as possible that him creating 6 clones allows him to create something of a galaxy size.
Right, so if it's just possible, that's equal interpretation, so that means that this point goes nowhere.
I think you can argue for which interpretation is more likely, because if you look at the novel directly states that they are talking about outer space, and the Soul Society has an outer space. They have stars. They have planets.
I understand, but that doesn't matter to my interpretation. Basically, I'm just saying that the background here is basically just in order for visual storytelling to tell, okay, this is a vacuum of space.
I disagree. I disagree with that. I think that you can create, if they just wanted to, if it was just trying to convey that, hey, this is the vacuum of space, then they could have just made it pitch black and not had anything in there. And it doesn't make sense for Grimmy to imagine just an aesthetically pleasing outer space.
Well, it says that he creates what he imagines, and it shows him thinking of outer space. So that doesn't necessarily mean he's creating.
So if he thinks of outer space and imagines it, and he knows that outer space contains stars and galaxies, then it would logically follow that he is creating stars and galaxies.
No, not necessarily. But what I'm thinking is,
yes, that's logical. That's a teleological argument.
Am I allowed to say what I want to say?
Okay. Are y'all still debating?
Yes, bro.
Okay, same topic or new topic?
It's the same topic. Anyway, as I was saying, I feel that the panel, like it was like at the end of the chapter, the panel of him thinking of something would just therefore follow that is what he is thinking of when he's creating it, but it doesn't matter because of the interpretation of the scale of what he can imagine.
I felt yours takes more assumptions. So, like, we already agreed that what he imagines comes into reality. It does, because mine's very simple. Mine is extremely simple. He imagines a meteor comes. He imagines space, he creates space. Or, like, he created a meteor, it didn't come. But he imagines a meteor, creates a meteor. Imagine space, create space. Space inherently, like, he thinks of space as having stars and galaxies, creates stars and galaxies. That's all. You're assuming that through the introduction of clones, that it's like you're applying a certain scale, multiplicative scale to it, that it could increase logarithmically. It could increase by orders of magnitude. Like you'd have to.
I didn't argue that. Grammy states that it's that's like it doubles his imaginative power anytime he makes a clone.
Yeah, his imaginative power could be far greater than what like the singular one shown. You just needed like 2 to create the meteor, but that's fine.
I'm not making extremely simple. I'm not making any assumptions when I say, okay, I interpret this as the scale at which he can imagine things. I'm not making any other assumptions.
Okay. I think it's a whole lot more simpler just to go with Grimmy Grimmy creates a meteor and an actual whole full-size meteor comes. He creates space and full-size stars and galaxies are there. They just logically follow.
That's cool you think that, but I just think that it logically follows that his multiplicative nature would allow for the space that he creates to be like at a much smaller scale than what you're saying.
But like, what makes you think it would be at a much smaller scale? Just because it multiplies it by 2, and just because he multiplied his like thing by 2 and it created a meteor, I'm saying that the multiplication of his imagination is not contingent on the size of the things that he can create. Because just multiplying the power of your imagination doesn't mean that it multiplies the size of what he creates. Because that doesn't make sense.
No, okay. So what I'm saying here is that since we see Grammy make a clone or to create a meteor, something of a much larger scale than what he was creating before, it would therefore follow that the scale of what he can create is multiplied along. Like, yeah.
I don't know that the scale of what he can create. You could argue that it's potency and not size or scale.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, like. And with how Bleach works with Ryatsu, it goes off of Ryatsu would go off the potency of their abilities, not the scale. You have somebody like Hado 90, Kuro Hitsugi, is described as creating a black hole, but it's not the actual size of a black hole.
But I don't think you can equate that to this character's, what was it called, Lechsteel or something like that?
Lichsteel? Are you talking about Uryu's Lichsteel?
No, I'm talking about this guy. What was his ability called? Like, I understand, like... I thought that
you're talking about his script?
Yeah, that's it. My bad.
Okay, you're fine. Yeah, like Lichsteel is an ability. Lichsteel is basically like said to be like the devolved version or like the ancient version of what a script would be.
Okay, my bad.
You weren't too far off.
I have not read the Blood War, so I just assumed that's what it was. But anyway, so this character is like, can you equate this character's script to Hado 90?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that things in Bleach are dependent on Ryatsu, and Ryatsu is potency based, not scale based. Like the stronger your Ryatsu, the more potent your ability. To take the Keto thing for example again, Keto's potency increase whenever they are given their incantations. For example, like Kurohitsuki is used by Aizen on separate occasions. It's the same exact size, but it is different in potency whenever applying the incantation.
He's saying that the potency of his ability here would then apply to scale, because we see him create something of a larger scale whenever his potency is increased. That's all.
I don't think that would follow.
Why?
Because just based off of how his ability works, is that whatever he imagines gets created and comes into reality. So if he's imagining a meteor, it just seems like you're making more like jumps in it than just the simple argument of he thinks of a meteor, meteor's created. He thinks of space, space is created. The space he thought of had started.
The problem is, we already he's already expressed limits on his power. Like, he needs to make a clone in order to make a meteor. He needs to make 6 clones in order to make this pocket dimension. Right? So, him, how do I explain this? So, saying that, like, he can imagine whatever, or he can create whatever he imagines is disingenuous, since there's already limitations placed on it. So, you're inherently making an assumption when you make that claim.
I'm not making an assumption, because the other characters in the series, if you look at the novel, was explaining, I'm pretty sure that's Kyotoku and Ichibei. I could be wrong, but they're discussing it, and it says, quite literally says, outer space. They know what outer space is. They know outer space contains stars and galaxies. What I'm
claiming doesn't contradict that.
Yes, it does, because you're saying it's like a little pocket universe. If that's the case, because there's abilities like that in Bleach.
I'm saying is he is creating outer space. He is creating outer space, but it's just on a scale like less than 6 meteors in size.
No, because they would have just said pocket dimension, because they have abilities in Bleach that create pocket dimensions.
Yeah, I never said. Okay, look. Whenever I said it was a pocket dimension, I meant that he's like, that's kind of what he's creating from my perspective. But it doesn't matter to my argument. All I'm saying is that he's creating a vacuum of space, just on a small scale.
Okay, well, you said that Orochimaru is Hashirama level, right? What's the attack potency of Hashirama?
Okay, so wait, are you agreeing to 6 times meteor?
No, I'm not agreeing. I'm not agreeing to it. I just all you said was Hashirama level, but you haven't quantified Hashirama. Okay, so if you don't
move on from this, leave it to judgment.
No, I'm not gonna leave it to judgment. I just need to know Hashirama scale, because my argument is that if this is just 6-time meteor, and the meteor was going to destroy the Soul Society, which is an Earth, it is said to be a mirror version of the world of the living, which is just Earth. And if you want to argue that is 6 times, that would be 6 times Earth, which would be up into like the large planetary levels
I'll go ahead and explain it. So Kurama is able to destroy the planet with, like, it's able to turn the planet to ash, or not the planet, the world to ash with, sorry, what does it say?
I know the scan you're talking about. I don't think it's not. It doesn't mean the actual planet.
Okay, why?
Because do you have the databook scan on hand? Because I'm pretty sure that the picture used is during Konoha invasion, right?
Kurama. At the very top. Okay, it does not show the Konoha invasion. In the it shows like him inside of the space, him inside of the seal, and Jiraiya, and the seal itself.
These scans are so blurry.
Blame Chrome, not me.
Yeah, no, this could easily, and it's more likely to mean that it's just talking about civilizations, like the world, as in like the people that are on the world, the civilizations that inhabit it, not because it would require. So you're aware of like the difference between evidence and sufficient evidence, right?
Sorry, evidence in what?
sufficient evidence.
Oh,
like the more insane the claim, the more sufficient the evidence needs to be.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so you're claiming he turns the world to ash. If you're equating that to him turning the physical planetary object in space disintegrate, like turning it into ash, like not just breaking it beyond its GBE, turning it to actual ash, that is an insane claim. Which it would make more sense because the world can be referred to as many things, and including civilizations and whatnot. And he's destroying, like he's thought to be like the Demon Fox, rampages and like destroys. He was going to destroy Konoha. This could just be it's more likely that this is a life wiper feat.
All right, so with my evidence basically is that how do I say this? All right, so how bijou bombs work is like tail bees can control how much chakra goes into a bijou bomb, and chakra that is used to destroy an entire village is just a fraction of his full power. Like basically, here, let me show you a scan to put it into scale. Should be in the Naruto KCM section at the very top.
Second picture, shit.
Alright, chapter 499, page 12. Let's hit the search bar instead of the chapter button. Let me show you this. Immediately after getting 9 whole tails of chakra ripped out of him by Naruto, Kurama makes a bijou bomb this big. Compare that to the size of the one that he used to destroy one whole village.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's fine.
Could destroy one village. Hold on, yeah, I'm comparing size to just show you, to put into perspective how much chakra he can really use.
Okay, that's fine, but that like I can still tell who's Naruto, and like I can still like Kurama is still very visible. Like this isn't that big.
I understand, but I'm gonna show you a comparison of village destroying bijou bomb versus this one.
Plus, would you agree that the Ten Tails is stronger than Kurama?
I'm not trying to get shotgun right now. Hold on.
Sure.
Here's the bijou bomb that was capable of destroying the whole Hidden Leaf village. For comparison.
Okay, that's cool. Like, can you quantify the differences in size? Would you say this is like what would you say this is?
Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that it is incredibly likely that since Kurama can destroy an entire village with a small portion of his chakra, and then create something far, far larger with just like a little bit of chakra left, despite getting like 9 tails of it ripped out by Naruto, saying that a full power Kurama, and by the way, this is half of Kurama, by the way, if there was the full Kurama, which is the one that I'm going to be scaling to, and it would probably be a lot different. And so if he had all of his chakra put into one bijou bomb, it would destroy the planet. That is all
No, I disagree because what is the size of the Hidden Leaf? I'm aware that it's the largest village, but do we have a definitive size?
I'm not entirely sure, but okay, so the bijou bomb that was supposed to destroy the whole village basically destroyed like I think 3 or 4 mountains. If you want me to get the scan, I can get it.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I would just say that the Ten Tails. Would you agree that the Ten Tails is stronger than Kurama.
You tell me why that's relevant first.
Because the Ten Tails Cataclysm, that it's Biju Bomb, which was like had affected, it affected like continents. That didn't destroy the Earth. Like
Yeah,
that
it wasn't its full power.
That's perfectly fine that it wasn't its full power, but I'm asking like if you don't if you're not going to answer my question, then like the point de facto goes to me. Is the Ten Tails stronger than Kurama?
Yes, the Ten Tails is stronger than Kurama, but the Ten Tails Cataclysm was not the Ten Tails full power, so it's not relevant to my argument.
It is relevant because the Ten Tails, without its full power, has displayed a Biju Bomb of far more destructive capacity than Kurama has displayed at any moment in the series.
Okay, why does that matter?
Because you're scaling Kurama's destructive capacity right now via Biju Bombs.
Yeah. Okay, so let me get that.
And you're trying to scale it with the size, like comparing the size. This is going to destroy the video. Do you have any idea how big a planet is? Like a planet is huge compared to the size of compared to the size of just a village. Even if Konoha's the biggest village, the Biju Bomb of the size that Kurama's.
1 second. I'm gonna check and see how big the Biju Bomb was in comparison.
How big what Biju Bomb was in comparison?
Tails. Wait, is that only a data book? Okay, there it is.
I'm pretty sure it could be seen from like the curvature of the Earth, couldn't it? Like like they were fighting in like a different land, and it hit Konoha, or not Konoha. It hit like over the horizon and killed Shukaku and Inoue, correct?
Hold on 1 second. I'm looking for this scan real quick. Oh, okay. So here's the size of the Biju Bomb. Basically, the Ten Tails' head. Yeah, it's about the size of the Ten Tails' head. I can scale that to Kurama's size, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the Ten Tails is like dwarfing mountains in that image. I don't know. A lot of times mangas will be like shitty whenever it comes to like drawing to scale. Because here in the bottom right corner, you have Ninja down there, which are pretty visible in comparison to the size of the Ten Tails. But in the other panel to the left, you have the Ten Tails dwarfing entire, like being as tall as entire mountains. So I don't know if you could too well use that scale argument. Whenever we have inconsistent, whenever you can like visibly see.
I'm trying to look for a size comparison between Kurama and Ten Tails in order to figure out, like, okay, the size of this Biju Bomb would be above that, and blah 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 blah. I'll look for this.
Let me switch to speaker. My headphones are being whack. There we go.
So are you saying that like the size of the Biju bomb is contingent on its potency?
How it's represented?
I think I disagree with that, just from what Foretells Naruto did to Orochimaru.
Sorry, what about Orochimaru?
I said I disagree with that, just based off of like Orochimaru's interaction with the Foretells Naruto. I think they even comment on how tiny it is, but it had a lot of power. So I think it I don't think
I'm not saying that I'm not saying that a building-sized Biju bomb would destroy a building. I'm saying that small Biju bomb would still be capable of a lot, and a very large Biju bomb even if it's not the size of a planet, would possibly destroy a planet.
I think that the comparison in size of the Biju bomb that was going to destroy Konoha and the Biju bomb that Koruma's creating with 9 tails ripped out of him, that would not justify destroying a planet, because if you're comparing the sizes, right? A village is like a dot compared to the
I
land.
understand. What I'm trying to prove right now is that with 9 extra tails added onto this Bijou bomb, it would easily destroy a planet.
You'd have to quantify.
I know, I'm in the middle of doing that immediately after I get done with this 10 tails nonsense. Okay. Just like a canon complete size comparison, but we'll check again. Here we go. Found it.
Found silver way over the limit.
Alright, here's Kurama. In size comparison to the 10 tails, we can see that it is clearly larger than the 10 tails' head.
That's a different 10 tails.
It's okay, so the thing about it is, it's the same 10 tails, it's just the 10 tails can mold its shape depending on, whenever
This is a weaker form of 10 tails.
Prove that.
It had evolutions to it. This 10 tails that's fighting Kurama didn't perform a feat comparable to the cataclysm that the one in the above one did. So the one in the above scan has a literal feat greater than anything that the one in the below scan has ever shown to do. That's all I need.
Not really. Hold on, let me get something real quick.
You're scaling Orochimaru to Hashirama?
Yes.
How does he scale to Hashirama again? It's been
He's
a while.
able to override a Guru's chakra with his own, and know that we're using basically verse equalization. We know that stronger of whatever power system wins, so that means that. And then since Guru created basically Hashirama's strongest technique, which is what places him above all of these Bijou and stuff. Since he replicated that would make his chakra on par with Hashirama, since he's able to create the same thing he did.
Wait, chakra. Since when does chakra equalize stats?
So we decided to equalize.
Yeah, no, just because so verse equalization just means that Genjutsu would be able to affect somebody that has Ryatsu. That doesn't mean that you gain the properties of Ryatsu, being that Ryatsu forces the user of the Ryatsu to have equal.
Sounds cherry picking to me.
That's not cherry picking. You don't get to change the entire way that your system operates. You just equate the two to chakra can affect Ryatsu and Ryatsu can affect chakra. That's what verse equalization is. You're trying to change the entire way that the chakra system works, which is two totally different things. Orochimaru definitely doesn't scale to Hashirama at all.
Okay, that's cool if you think that, bud, but let me get one thing real quick so that I don't get shotgunned.
Wait, bro. Wait, is this the same debate from...
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys, that's way over the limit.
No.
Yes.
I mean, if you want, we can conclude. I mean, I'm cool with it.
God. Bro,
No, but I haven't gotten around to scaling the shit yet. I mean,
Bro, you haven't even done the scale? Motherfucker, I was asleep.
to go over, if he would be immune to drugs, which drugs he'd be immune to or not, if he's immune to poison. To
See, I
go
feel
over, curse mark nonsense, paralysis. Oh my god.
I feel like I won the drug argument. To be honest, I don't think Orochimaru makes it past the superhuman drug. I feel like he'd get affected with that and get taken out before he actually gets to
well,
display.
whatever. Let's just conclude.
All right.
All right. So, yeah, I'll go first. So since my my character is immune to a lot of the weapons or a lot of the things in the arsenal of the character he's up against, he will have an inherent advantage and be able to hit him with his one-shot ability, which is able to either paralyze or knock him out, and then has a highly likelihood of killing him.
Is that it? I'm gonna say. Sorry, you stopped talking. I didn't want to like cut you off or anything.
No, I'm done.
Okay. Basically, I fit the superhuman drug. I argued that it would not constitute as a poison, and I didn't really have any pushback against it not constituting as a poison. Just whether or not Orochimaru would be able to get around it. There was no contingent about it not affecting him. I think it was agreed that it would affect him. It's just that my opponent thinks that through a substitution jutsu, he would be able to survive it or come out of it. I disagree with this because you still require perception to perform said jutsus, and the instances given to where he performed the jutsu were not under the necessary burdens or circumstances that the drug would put him under. Orochimaru would be incapacitated for the fight, as he would be perceiving 1 second as 100 years, and he would be standing there not doing anything. There was also never a direct counter to Mayuri's Bankai, which after being fed data through battle, just creates a counter to whatever he is fighting, as seen whenever he does with Pernida.
What's the counter given by the way?
Conclusion, man.
I know. I just don't want you to lie during your conclusion. That's all.
That's not a lie. You never countered it being able to create counters.
Yeah, I did. Well, I didn't counter that specifically, but I countered like it being able to work while he's unconscious.
Yeah, you never gave a contingent to what I said after that, which was that it was able to fight Uryu while he did nothing. So, but I'm gonna continue.
Understand that. But, okay, go ahead.
Mayuri's hacks to give a counter to whoever he fights was not lost my train of thought, was not debunked, and the fact that it is able to fight independently of him, as whenever he was fighting Uryu, is still a fact to be considered. So I feel like he doesn't get past the drug, and if he does, he gets countered by the Bankai. That's it.
Okay, let's save the recording.
Does anybody want to judge that?
I don't